resistance of material is not just the theme of Kansk Film Festival, but in my understanding, and in the material I use, or we are using as artist collective Total Refusal with my colleagues Robin Klengel and Michael Stumpf, it's the way of undergoing certain layers of video games, of the rules which make the games being games. So we are basically, Total Refusal is basically a media guerrilla, a pseudo-Marxist artist collective. So we are undergoing per se, or intervening into the rules or into the video games, and there we are performing or appropriating the video game setting, which most times is a war setting. It's a war game, or it's war games we are using, and we are trying to pacifying these very hostile environments of video games. So when we, as a media guerrilla, intervening peacefully into a war game and breaking the rules by that, it's per se like resistance. So out of ignoring or undergoing the rules of a game, we are filming that and like dragging it out of the material of the video game, which means we are capturing it, we are filming it, and then we are cutting it to a film within a certain meaning by an overvoice. And the last film was How to Disappear. It is per se resistance to not partake in a war when you're a soldier. So this film, How to Disappear, is about desertion, like leaving the battlefield with no allowance, no permit, which in many cases in the history, so in Russia and as well also in the Dritte Reich, was sentenced with death penalties. So we were discussing the history of first the history of desertion within this video game setting of Battlefield 5, and also by that attempting to fleeing from the battlefield by leaving this war zone of the video map, of the video game map. So we're also attempting to finding the borders of the maps, leaving it, or hassling other soldiers, trying to encourage them to do something peacefully instead to do what the game is intending, what the gamer should do. So we can also think the resistance of material is something what the gaming community is very interested in. So we can talk about modders, we can talk about people who also doing machinimas, like films done in a computer game like we are doing, but also to make just fun and breaking the rules in games. Like we have hundreds of thousands of videos where gamers are resisting the rules or trying to breaking the rules, making fun about the game, and like filming that and uploading it onto YouTube, for example, which then can be trigger a game out of that, invented by the community itself. Yeah, I mean, there is so much interest in this ever-growing media of video games in which huge worlds are remodeled and done in a very precise like capturing of our world we're living in. So it's an interest to break rules there, or to appropriate that, be creative there, do things you can't do in the physical real world, but rather in the video game, which looks like our world, for example. This is called transformative play. It's a term coined by Salen and Zimmerman, and the users can like this not just interactive, but this intervening and disobedient and creative gamers are called like transnational technologic online community of practice, as Alexander Knorr puts them. So this is a huge community of gamers who are inspiring themselves by being disobedient towards the media itself. What differs that basically to what artists are doing, like us, with the media and their resistance towards the rules of the game, is that we as artists sometimes attempt to make the hidden politics visible of the game, which means the ideology of the apparatus, the politics below, the blinky texture of the media. Huge mainstream games try always to make the politics and the ideology in the apparatus visible. They deny that there is a kind of resistance, there is a kind of ideology, because it's just fun, you know, these discussions. When it comes to soccer, the World Cup, whatsoever, it's just a game. There is, of course, there's some money involved, but it hasn't to do anything with politics, and we all know that this is wrong. There is humans doing that with a certain kind of mindset, and of course, by that and with the power of this huge entertainment media, they are trying to influence or even maybe manipulate the consumers or the users with their values. So artists try to somehow, by breaking the rules, to make the rules visible or to make fun about the rules. And in order to do so, and by that they are maybe also making this ideology, this hidden ideology, visible. Alexander Galloway called that counter gaming, for example. It's and as far as playing, is kind of an expression of the society of life and the world, as Heusinger put that. Games are per se political, but the huge money-driven publishers of gaming community of game developers are doing huge PR work in order to hide that there is a kind of politicality within the games, besides common sense identity politics.